What's up, everyone? Jeff from Lewis Physical Therapy here. I want to talk today about, just kind of go over the current cycle and program that I'm on, and the kind of, the name I kind of have for it. You can call it whatever it is, but I call it Clean It Up. And the reason being is it's a couple different things that go into it. Really, I mentioned the clean because there's a lot of cleans in this. That is just one thing personally I'm working on getting back into. And the Clean It Up side of things is really more of just kind of the lifestyle side of things, of just dialing in some other areas more than anything, cleaning up diet a little bit, and just kind of all that goes into that, just kind of getting back on a little bit more of a consistent program. I've honestly, the last month or so, have just done really just kind of a lot of different GPP work, kettlebell work, which has been beneficial, but I'm starting to just get that itch again of getting back into some barbell stuff. But just from history, from my standpoint, I very, very gradually ease into it. Even like last year, I kind of jumped right back into things too quickly from a squatting volume standpoint, and I got overloaded my hip real quick. So kind of the overview of this program, and I'm in week 2 of it right now. This is likely going to be a 5-week program, a 4-week progressive overload, and then a 1-week deload. And a deload's not just totally taking off, it's just kind of throttling down on the intensity a little bit. And really the purpose of this program, and really this is kind of my own personal belief of how, as we just kind of get older and, priorities come up in life, work, family, financial obligations, all that stuff, I personally find a lot more value in doing a little bit of a higher volume or frequency of very submaximal work instead of kind of taking it to the well, for lack of a better term, all the time. Again, high school collegiate players and athletes, they can, again, take it to the well, kind of go all out a bit more frequently than the adults can, because they can just recover better and whatnot. And that's one thing I've just personally learned over the years more than anything. So really right now, when I kind of look at it from a whole, training from a lifting standpoint, I'm training 3 times a week, and it's 30 minutes total. So I just honestly, maybe 35, but I really just don't have time to be in my basement just lifting a ton. I wake up 5:30 or whatnot, read, have some coffee, kind of drudge my way down at 6:15 down to the basement, and by 6:45, 6:50, I'm done. Just because my day has to get, by 7 a.m., my day's getting rolling. It's just better that way. And I hate lifting at night. That's me personally. I don't do good with it, so it's got to be the morning for me. So warm up, it's a 10-minute warm up. I actually just put a video up recently of kind of the 10-minute warm up process that I use. A little bit of foam rolling, some general hip mobility, some glute work, some back work, some goblet squat holds. Like, it is super into the point more than anything. I don't believe in having to turn warm-ups into this big PT session and whatnot. Just get warmed up and get going. If you need time for other work and whatnot, either mix it in to your main list for the day or in other stuff. And then cleans. That's get right into it from there. Now, I will say I take probably about 2 to 3 warm-up sets. If I have the time, maybe it might just be 2, but I'm definitely taking an empty bar set. I'm doing just some just kind of rack hold. I'll maybe just kind of mix in some overhead squatting. I don't have a high ceiling in my basement, so I can really just get the overhead squat pattern in without the barbell, which is fine for right now. I'll do just a couple front squats, RDLs, couple pulls, and then I start getting into it. And again, I take maybe 2 to 3-ish sets from there. And really, for right now, I haven't tested my clean in a long time, so this is very much an auto-regulation based program, meaning my goal for each day is I'm just working up to a somewhat heavy set, 2 sets of 5 reps. They might be at the same weight. The second set might be a little bit heavier. But I really, right now, I don't even have essentially an accurate max to go off of to then build a training max off of. So a little bit of that is being smart from that standpoint, just listening to my body, which is that's easier said than done. It has taken a long time of lifting for certain people to be able to get to that point. So that's just to be mindful. That is kind of where I'm at more than anything. And really for the entire cycle, I plan on just staying in the 5s more than anything. You get a little bit of a conditioning workout. It's all from the hang more than anything, and that's just really from a technique standpoint for me. It's never really been an issue of coming off the floor. It's been more of an issue from the hang to the hip in terms of coming forward early. So that's kind of why I'm doing that from that standpoint. You're certainly feel free to kind of mix it up how you want to. If you have 2 days from the hang, 1 day from the floor, I would say if you're going from the floor, I would drop it from 5s to 3s, but just to be aware of that more than anything. So that's kind of that breakdown there. This alone is going to probably take me 15 to 18 minutes more than anything. And then I'll jump into a compound lift more than anything. So again, if I'm going 3 times a week, I only right now am box squatting once a week. So if I'm trap bar, say on Monday I have a trap bar, Wednesday's a box squat, Friday is a trap bar. That first day for the trap bar is going to be more in line with the kind of like the typical Wendler 5-3-1. The box squat on that middle day, I'm a little bit up in the air on what I'm going to do right now, mainly because I just haven't accumulated much volume from a squatting standpoint, so I'm likely going to just keep it in the 5s range. But that's probably just what I'm going to do, just to get an accurate kind of number of where I'm at more than anything over the course of this week. And probably on that last week or so is when I'll kind of test for a little bit of a 5 RM or maybe a rep max from that standpoint. But if you already kind of know where you're at, then I would suggest that middle one you go kind of off the typical 5-3-1 as well. And then that third day, I'm going to be going back to the trap bar, but I'm going to be staying at 5s, but I'm not going to be going above probably 80% for the duration of this program. That's going to be a little bit more of the kind of, I don't want to say speed day, but it's really just more of acquiring volume more than anything. Versus the kind of high, like getting another higher intent day more than anything. So that's kind of what that looks like. And then from an accessory standpoint, like I do this probably gets me like the 25-minute mark. From an accessory standpoint, I really just do one accessory. I either will do some pull-ups, I will do either a pull-up, a row. Today I did weighted back extensions with a 45, or maybe a carry from there. So it is like literally 30, max 35 minutes. I just don't have much time. I mean, for most busy dads and just busy adults, they probably don't either. So part of the kind of art of it is finding a program that allows you to get done what you need to, and then kind of go from there in terms of your accessory work and all that stuff. The other days of the week are going to be kind of a lower intensity conditioning, whether that's I'm going for a walk with a weighted vest on, or I'm just kind of going through a kettlebell GPP circuit for 15 minutes, keeping a little bit of heart rate, but not necessarily the burn it to the ground side of things. I'll maybe do a little bit more mobility work at night. So that might be about 2 to 3 times a week there. I have a variety of different kettlebell complexes I'll pull from. It kind of just depends on how I feel, or I'll just kind of get my accessory work that I would normally want to do. Carries, biceps, triceps. Honestly, I like doing that, so why not? And I'll just kind of throw it into a little bit of a circuit to get a little bit of a GPP effect while also getting my assistance work done as well. So you can get creative with it. Again, as you can see, like I'm not saying you have to do exactly this, and this. I'm just kind of giving you a framework more than anything. I might, if I have this available at some later time or date, if you want to do it that way, great. But I do believe in just kind of giving some people a little bit of some freedom from that standpoint, but just some guidelines and a framework more than anything. And then this last one here, I just like to keep it in from a programming standpoint just because I just enjoy doing it. I'll have one day of some kind of on-feet conditioning. That's going to be a mix of just some tempo runs, and that's going to be more from, yes, a little bit of a capacity, but also from just a running technique side of things. And then I'll do it and then the speed side of things as well. So like this past week, I kind of did 6 tempo runs of like 20 seconds on, 60 to 80 seconds off. And then I did 4 reps of an easy, fast, easy. And that's kind of like, that's a speed drill from the track and field world. Charlie Francis talked about it. It's essentially, let's just say I take like, I'm taking like 60, yards roughly. You kind of build up to like a little bit of a faster pace at 20 yards. Then for that middle 20, you're really predominantly going like driving from the arms to go a little bit faster. And then the back 20, so that last 20, you throttle back down to where you started. So easy build up, fast, easy back. I'm not dropping the hammer in this middle part here. I honestly don't think most people need to be sprinting at all out full capacity, but there is benefit to getting a little bit of a higher speed stimulus. Again, that's higher than a jog. I just like doing that. So that's one thing I'm mindful of there. I'm really only doing that one time a week. For me specifically, if I really try to ramp up my on-feet volume, even if it's tempo work, while I'm pushing a program like this, something has to give, and I just don't feel like dropping a lifting day to kind of do that from there. So that's just me personally. Doesn't have to be the case for you, but this is kind of how I get kind of my on-feet day here more than anything. I try to get my conditioning from a little bit lower impact ways that just still allow me to be recovered for my next session. So like this might be a Saturday, maybe a Sunday session, preferably Saturday though. So I have Sunday as kind of a low kind of down day more than anything. So kind of going over this example here of like what the program looks like. Again, warming up, I'll go into a hang power clean, a 2x5, and then I'm going to go into a trap bar box squat. This is like that first week, that trap bar box squat for a 3x5 there. Now for the 5 there, I like to have each set be progressively heavier, and that's a little bit more in line with the 5-3-1 scheme. If you're someone that hasn't really gotten used to progressively heavier weights, and you're maybe not going to do that scheme, you can just take all the weights at the same one. Like it really, you can gear it towards what you feel from a beginner standpoint. One kind of thing I will say that I've done myself, the reason I have it as a 5-week more than anything is just because, again, for me, I have to really take a very slow on-ramp So that first week, I didn't have any compound lift work. It was literally just get me used to warming up, cleaning, and doing some accessory type work 3 times a week. I got to that first week, and then I added that here. So that first week is really kind of that extended on-ramp. That's next 3 weeks now, so I'm in the second week where I'm now adding these in. That is going to be now more the traditional like 3 week of progressive loading, which takes us to the end of week 4, and then week 5 is going to be a deload. So again, this is the general framework I'm following. It's not up on my Trainerize page or anything like that. There's some clips that I put out, every other day in terms of like from my session and whatnot. But if you have questions like this about, how you can do this, or really just a program similar to it, or depending on what your goals are, again, I just kind of am getting the itch to get back into cleans and whatnot. Not from a competing standpoint. Maybe I don't really have room to snatch in my basement, so like that kind of takes competing out of the question to a degree, unless I just kind of just say I'm going to go and rip it in competition, which probably is not the smart thing to do. But if you have questions on stuff like that, drop them below in the comments section or subscribe to our channel for more training content like this.